China's commercial aircraft corporation developed the C919 to challenge the long-standing duopoly of Airbus and Boeing in the commercial aviation market. The C919 is a narrowbody airliner designed for short to medium-haul routes, directly competing with Boeing's 737 and Airbus's A320 families. An inconsistent communication about design changes, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Political tensions between China and Western countries add complexity, as regulatory certification depends heavily on trust, transparency, and perceived independence from political influences. Additionally, Comac may target markets with less stringent regulatory environments, such as Southeast Asia, parts of Africa, the Middle East. If managed well, the C919 could eventually join Airbus and Boeing as a third major player in the global narrowbody aircraft market, reshaping the commercial aviation landscape. And Latin America, leveraging China's geopolitical influence and Belt and Road Initiative partnerships. Another potential but more geopolitically risky market is Russia, which faces its own supply constraints due to Western sanctions. The C919's dependence on foreign components such as engines from a joint venture and avionics from American companies also exposes the program to risks related to export controls or sanctions. Since its development began in 2008, the aircraft has made significant strides, including its maiden flight in 2017, Chinese certification in 2022. Airbus CEO Guillaume Faury recognizes Comac as a serious competitor, especially given its strong foothold in the Chinese domestic market, which accounts for around 20% of global air travel demand. Boeing's long-term forecasts also factor in the C919 as a competitor, particularly in the Asian market. However, Airbus and Boeing are likely to leverage the delay to strengthen their own product lines and possibly lobby for stricter certification standards to slow Comac's emergence and commercial service launch in 2023. Despite over 1,000 orders and deliveries, primarily to Chinese carriers, the C919 faces a critical hurdle: delayed certification by the European Union Aviation Safety Agency, which now estimates the process will take 3 to 6 years, pushing possible certification to 2031 or beyond. This delay is attributed mainly to a lack of transparency from COMAC during the aircraft's development, including insufficient documentation. But a national project for China, aimed at fostering innovation, reducing dependence on Western manufacturers, and building a globally competitive aviation industry. The 3 to 6 year certification delay imposed by EASA highlights the complexity of aircraft certification, especially for a newcomer without established trust, and the delay restricts Comac to primarily domestic sales or non-Western markets for now. With over 1,000 orders and a domestic market accounting for around 20% of global demand, China offers Comac a unique advantage to refine the C919 in real-world conditions. This controlled environment allows for operational learning, technical improvements, and building a safety record that will be essential when seeking future international certifications. Without access to prestigious regulatory approvals, international airlines may hesitate to place orders, limiting COMAC's growth and exposure to diverse operational environments necessary for aircraft maturity and But this exposes COMAC and China to secondary sanctions and diplomatic backlash from the West. While potentially lucrative short-term, such moves complicate COMAC's broader goals of gaining acceptance as a trusted global manufacturer. Although the C919 is branded as a Chinese aircraft, its reliance on Western engines and key subsystems makes it susceptible to supply chain disruptions triggered by political decisions or sanctions. This dependency weakens Comac's position and raises questions about the aircraft's sustainability as a fully independent competitor without indigenous alternatives, which are still years away from certification. Technical challenges like incomplete documentation and pandemic-related disruptions are compounded by geopolitical tensions, creating a regulatory environment where safety concerns are intertwined with international politics, slowing down progress significantly. This ambition reflects China's broader industrial policy goals beyond immediate commercial success. The scale and investment indicate a long-term vision to establish a domestic aviation powerhouse. Despite this setback, industry leaders acknowledge the C919's potential to disrupt the market. COMAC's best strategy moving forward is to focus on expanding and refining the C919 within China's vast domestic market, gathering operational data and improving the aircraft's reliability and efficiency before seeking broader international certification. In conclusion, while the EU certification delay represents a significant obstacle for the C919's global ambitions, it also presents Comac with an opportunity to mature its technology and operations domestically and in allied markets. Highlights: China's C919 aims to break Airbus-Boeing duopoly in narrowbody aircraft. EU delays C919 certification by 3 to 6 years, potentially until 2031, delayed due to COMAC's lack of transparency and incomplete documentation. Heavy reliance on Western parts exposes C919 to geopolitical risks. Airbus and Boeing acknowledge C919 as a serious emerging competitor. Comac to focus on China's massive domestic market for growth and refinement. COMAC may explore non-Western markets in Russia to offset EU certification delays. Key insights: strategic national ambition behind C919 development. The C919 is not just a commercial product. Asterisk certification delays reflect both technical and political challenges. Dependence on foreign components creates vulnerability. Market access is crucial for global competitiveness. Asterisk the EU certification is a gateway to global markets. China's domestic market is a crucial testing ground. Asterisk risks in expanding to Russia and other markets. Asterisk selling the C919 to Russia may fill an immediate market gap given Western sanctions on Russian aviation. Industry response: intensified competition and possible regulatory pressure. Airbus and Boeing are expected to use the EU certification delay strategically, accelerating their own next aircraft development and possibly lobbying for heightened regulatory scrutiny on the C919. This could further increase certification hurdles, buying them time to consolidate their market dominance and challenge Comac's eventual market entry. In summary, the C919 represents a bold attempt by China to enter a highly complex and competitive industry dominated by Airbus and Boeing. While technical and political barriers delay its global certification and market penetration, the program's strong domestic base and strategic market repositioning could allow it to gradually close the gap and alter the commercial aviation landscape in the coming decade. The unfolding situation will require Comac to navigate technical challenges, geopolitical realities, and fierce competition with careful strategy and patience.